Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clay, and I am the Bucks believer. Last night, ESPN's Tim McMahon reported that the Houston Rockets and PJ Tucker are going to be looking to go in different directions, with Tucker likely going to be traded to a contending NBA team by this year's trade deadline. This is pretty similar to the LaMarcus Aldridge situation that we had come up just a couple weeks ago, but the main difference for the Bucks in this particular spot is that Tucker's contract is much more manageable in a trade than Aldridge's would be, as it is much cheaper for this season. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Tucker and what some of the value he could bring to the Bucks this season would be, and then I'm going to talk about some potential trade packages and whether or not the value would be correct in those packages in order to get Tucker in return. So far this year, PJ is averaging 4.4 points and 4.6 rebounds per game for the Rockets. This production is a significant decrease as to what he's done in the past, and he has particularly struggled to hit shots from the three-point line, which has been the strong suit of his offensive game in past seasons. This year, he's shooting just 31.4% from the three-point line, which is a pretty solid drop-off from last year's 35.8% mark. And it's not like his quality of shot has changed all that much. Last season, 54.7% of his three-point looks were wide open, and this year, that number has gone down just 2% to 52.8% of his looks being wide open this season. Despite the loss of James Harden and Russell Westbrook, he's still getting a lot of wide open three-point looks, and he's just simply converting those at a much lower rate than he was last season. However, with Tucker, you cannot focus too much on the offensive end because, while he has been a positive floor spacer in the past, his biggest value always came on defense, where he is a very high-quality defender. He's one of the rare NBA players that is able to switch and guard essentially four positions on the NBA court, as he's able to match up with many centers and pretty much can guard all the way down to some shooting guards. So obviously he is a very versatile defensive wing player, and he would especially help the Bucks as they attempt to move into a new play style in which they switch all on-the-ball actions as well as some off-the-ball actions and play Giannis Antetokounmpo at the 5. Having Tucker out there, allowing the Bucks to close with a lineup of Jrue Holiday, Donte DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, PJ Tucker, and Giannis would allow for them to be an extremely switchable unit and a team that could be even more dangerous on defense because of that kind of versatility than they have been in the past, when they have already been one of the best defensive teams in the league. So, with that being said, I do think that despite the drawback of his limited offensive production, it would be worthwhile for the Bucks to consider adding Tucker because of the value he brings on the defensive end of the court. However, is there a trade package that really works? Let's run through a couple different options the Bucks could have, and I'll provide my opinion on whether or not the Bucks should pull the trigger on these trades or not. Let's start with the first option, which would be trading Donte DiVincenzo and DJ Wilson for PJ Tucker. This works in the NBA trade machine, but if I were the Bucks, I would hang up the phone and I would say a big no to that trade offer. I think that DiVincenzo is already a better player than Tucker. He's much younger and has a lot of room to improve, and he's under contract for a longer amount of time as well. So I think that trade would make no sense for the Bucks, and obviously this is not something that I would be willing to do. Let's move on to a second option, which would be Pat Connaughton, DJ Wilson, and a 2023 second-round pick in exchange for Tucker. This is another deal that I would really question if I were John Horst, the Bucks general manager. Connaughton has given the Bucks some really good minutes, especially on the offensive end, where he's shooting 38.9% from beyond the arc, which is obviously 7% better than what Tucker has done so far this year with the Rockets. So you're also giving up a second-round pick that is one of the more valuable assets that this Bucks team has after the Jrue Holiday trade completely depleted this team of their first-round picks moving into the near future. I think that once again, this is a trade that I would probably say no to, just because I don't think that the upgrade from Connaughton to Tucker is big enough that I would be willing to pull the trigger on that one. Finally, the third option I came up with for the Bucks would be to trade DJ Augustine, DJ Wilson, the 2023 second round pick, and the 2024 second round pick in exchange for Tucker. This one gets me much closer to agreeing because I do think that Tucker would be a big, significant upgrade over Augustine. The problem here is that these two guys play very different roles, as Tucker would be a plus defender who is a floor spacing wing on offense, while Augustine is a very important part of the Bucks bench offense, as he is the primary ball handler in a lot of those lineups. So is it worth trading away a guy who is that important to your offense in pretty solid periods of minutes per game in exchange for someone who's not going to be able to really raise your floor all that much further? I can't say that I think so. So after talking about it, my decision is that although Tucker would bring a lot of great defensive versatility and would probably help the Bucks in quite a few ways, I don't think that this is a trade that I would be willing to make if I were John Horst, and I would keep my eyes open for some cheaper options such as Wayne Ellington or Doug McDermott. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me that the Bucks should stay away from Tucker, or do you think that they should pull the trigger on a Tucker trade if the right deal appears? Let me know. Leave a like and subscribe, especially if you enjoy all things Bucks. I'm going to be cranking out consistent Bucks content for the rest of the season, so subscribe. I think that I've covered everything that I wanted to cover, so that's going to be it for me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you all again very soon.